if Shepard doesn't bring help soon. There won't be an Earth left to save.
Hi, I'm Tim Weaver from CVG, and I'm here with Andy Kelly, also from CVG. How you doing, Andy?
Hello, good.
Andy is our resident Mass Effect 3 expert. You've played it, you finished it, you've conquered the whatever you do in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I just realised I was about to maybe spoil it then. So,
it's not a spoiler to say that I saved Earth. That is what you're doing in this game. The Reapers, who are an ancient race of space squids, are coming to basically destroy all Earth and the galaxy, and you, Commander Shepard, have to stop them, even though they are seemingly immortal and can't be stopped.
Yeah, let's just underline then, for those who weren't clear the first time, you haven't just spoiled it for people.
No, that's the premise. EA have been pretty open about that.
Yeah.
The mystery and the thing that drives you on is how on Earth you're going to beat these guys, or rather these machines, because they're like ancient robots. So yeah, that forms the basis of the drama in this game, and it is a game full of drama. It's a very story-led game, but it is also a really good cover shooter. So it has, appeal to people that like an RPG, a story-led experience, and also it's a much more competent shooter than previous games.
So before we go any further, we'll just let everyone know out there that this is going to be a completely spoiler-free review, so you can keep on listening without worrying about us dropping major spoiler bombs. So Andy, with that in mind, let's talk a bit about how Mass Effect 3 has evolved from Mass Effect 2. How different is it? Is it not that different? Talk us through it.
Well, it's not as much of a leap as 2 was from 1. It's more like, I guess in a way, it's like a Mass Effect 2.5, and they've taken it's got the same rhythm and structure as Mass Effect 2, but they've just piled in loads of new content, mixed a few things up, and again, those combat improvements really make it feel better. So, it's not, don't expect another bold leap for the series, but it is the most polished one, and for my money, it's my favourite of the series, and I've been a fan of Mass Effect since the first one, and this for me is the best.
So I guess the reason is they got a lot right in Mass Effect 2, so why change a winning formula, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, the Mass Effect 2, the story was a lot more guided. You had to form a team, go through the Omega Relay, defeat the Collectors. This is, by nature of it being a galactic war, is a lot more uncertain, so the story is less predictable. There's less of it's still linear, in some degrees, but still it feels a bit more uncertain, and that makes it more interesting and more thrilling.
What was interesting about the game, listening to you to sort of talk about it and discuss it, was that you were talking about having had to make decisions that genuinely were quite upsetting for you.
Yeah, well, I think,
and I don't mean just in game. I mean you genuinely came into work and were like, oh, I made a terrible decision last night.
Well, I mean, there's been moral decisions in all of BioWare's games, and especially Mass Effect. I think by virtue of the fact that I've spent 2 games sort of getting to know these characters and grown to like really genuinely love this universe, now that the story in this one is basically all going to get destroyed unless you do something, it gives all the moral decisions a sort of extra weight, and some of them, it's kind of like BioWare exploiting your emotions if you're a fan of the series. Some of the decisions you have to make and some of the outcomes will genuinely hit you hard. It's quite, it's a very bleak game, as you might expect for a game where it's all about, the entire galaxy being wiped out. It's very grim. Things will happen that you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not really, and so you will, if you're invested in this world, then you will do some things that might not sit that well with you and linger in your mind.
So 2 questions then. Firstly, what about for people who haven't played Mass Effect? Is it kind of easy to get into, or?
Yeah, I think if you haven't played a Mass Effect game before, you start with 1 ideally, or 2 at least. This is very much the end of the trilogy, and it is, without, you could play it and enjoy it, but I think to get the real emotional impact of it, you should play the other games, carry your save game over so that it continues your story.
And very, very quickly, for fans of Mass Effect, it's the ultimate payoff?
Yeah, I think by really boosting the combat and making it much more competent, it really does fill in a blank that I think Mass Effect 2 had, where the combat was it got quite repetitive. There's tons more dynamic AI and stuff in this, and I think for a Mass Effect fan, like I say, it's my favourite of the series. You might disagree, but I think it's peaked and ended on a high note.
Consider yourself reinstated. Commander, you know what you have to do.
I'll be back for you, and I'll bring every fleet I can.
Good luck.